All right, let's.
Take two.
Yeah, it's okay. We're not going to repeat the conversation, but it's great that I think we kind of have a clearly defined the scope and sequence of this project. So, what's next?
Yeah, I think if we start implementing this now, grade 9, 10, then we.
By the way, why grade 9, 10?
I think they don't have the DP pressure yet, and
That's also the grade level you are more familiar with.
I'm feeling 6, 7, 6 to 10 is my my speciality, but I think the 9 to 10 is a good point because they're starting to think about the DP. Students are a little bit more mature, but ideally it should be rolling out school-wide. It just can't happen all at the same time. And again, maybe teachers are already differentiating up in primary, and we just don't know. I just know that it doesn't happen much.
Do you have any subject in mind you want to start with? I know you teach English and you have some coding background. So, any starting point in terms of?
I think English, math, and science would be the for me the logical first step. Those students, either academically or just what you see in the class, stand out very, very quickly.
Okay.
And then we can start moving into INS and other subjects. But yeah, math, science, English, first steps.
How about formats? But recently I remember you talking about potentially a cab to be such a vehicle to do certain things, or like what would be the same like formats?
I was the more I thought about doing as a cap, it's just creating another time slot for students to be. I think they should be accelerated or doing this program at the same time as other students. I think as soon as we start having this cap for students, I don't know, they're already so busy. They're so busy. I can see my students walking into class today. I don't want to go to CAP today, Mr. Steve. I'm just exhausted, but compulsory, right? Our CAPs are compulsory, so they're not necessarily doing it because they want to. I think if we do this, they'll be like, not going to get by.
All right. So you like to start with meeting some CPTs, and then to get more input on such this potential initiative.
Yeah. So the next step for me would be speaking directly to the department leaders.
Yeah. And
then seeing what suits them for certain CPT teams. Maybe they're like, actually we thought about something like this, or another teacher's told me that there's potentially is one class is exceptional and the other class is, we get that, right? Very low, then I can stop in, okay, let's work with the class that you think is really strong as a little cohort, and then push these strategies in and just see the results, see what happens, and collect that data. Does performance improve? Do they become socially more happy? Those softer things I think are it's going to be pretty interesting. I think my assumption. Just an assumption.
Okay. Since we just finished the personal project standardization, I'm gonna use something similar to ask some questions.
Yeah.
So how would you evaluate the criteria of success for this project? Or some planning of timeline. So just referencing some of the.
For my own project.
Yeah, for your own project.
For the outline of the project that like Michael gave us in the beginning, there was a pretty clear structure of how this project would need to be presented to make a final product. That part of the project, the theory work is complete. Now I need to check in with the stakeholders, right? So it was you, Nick, Emily, so that buy-in is there now. Now that I've got that buy-in, now I can start getting to the department leaders and filtering down. So that's the end game. It's close by now. It's really, really close to get together. Now my homework would be to at least provide relevant examples of what that differentiating up would look like. And then my weakness would be delegating. I like working, I like research, I don't mind it, but I would have to tell the science department. Now it's up to you now, right? It's your subjects.
Yeah.
I can find stuff that we know have worked in other schools, but now for our Keystone body, what can science do? What can math do? What can music do?
Will you provide some, some case study from other schools of some programs?
Case studies, also some, I suppose, like rubrics, these little checklists are very simplified. The first documents I had to look at was probably like 10 or 11 pages, and that's too much. So I will condense that and then let the departments run with it.
How can I help?
No, you've been really helpful already. I think my initial concern would be resistance from the school. So I've tried something like this similar a few years ago.
What did you try last time?
Same, gifted and but I was determined to name it Gifted and Talented Program, and the head of school was very interested, super interested, but the rest of SLT were not, and he was honest. He's like, I love it, but he couldn't okay that go ahead. So different now.